Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to our video. This video is going to be part 1 of my Introduction to Python series. So without further ado, let's get started. So Python is a programming language that lets you sort of communicate to the computer, and it basically allows you to run programs, of course. We'll get into what a program is exactly in a minute, but basically we have here something called PyCharm. Now this is a Python idle, or a Python environment where you can type in code. And so, for example, we have this sort of blinking rod here. We can just type in some random letters, and if we click on Run tool here, we can do Run Main. We can run what's basically inside our code editor. So let's get started with our script. So first thing you need to know is that in Python, as well as some other programming languages, you can type out comments. They'll help you kind of organize and coordinate your work if you're working with other people. So the way you type a comment in Python is you just hit the pound sign or hashtag, and you can just write this is a comment. Basically everything in this little line right here is basically going to just be ignored. So it's only showing up for us, basically. So our first script is going to be very simple. It's going to be how to print something called hello world. And to do that, we just type print, parentheses. Now we need our parentheses because we're going to put whatever we want to print inside the parentheses. And then we're going to do a quotation marks, hello world, close quote. Now because we're using letters and as well as this sort of a particular punctuation, we're going to need to have quotation marks on either side of it, because otherwise it doesn't know what to run. So basically we can just click run here, run main, and we have our print statement, hello world, just got printed. Now you can also print numbers. So for example, if we let's get rid of this, 23, and just print us out a number. So we'll print out whatever is in here, and we had to use quotation marks for string, but because 23 is not a string, 23 is just an integer, we could just put it right in. So next thing we need to know about is variables. Now variables is just a store of a particular value. So for example, we have somebody who's of a certain age. Let's see, age equals 23. Then basically the 23 is stored into our age variable. So we can print, we can use our print statement again. And now this time, instead of putting in 23, we can put in age for our variable. And it should run. It'll give us 23. Because it's printed out the age, which is equal to 23. Basically, you can also write out many other variables. For example, we could do height equals 180. 182, let's just do 182. Height, and we click run, and in PyCharm we can actually click Shift F10 to kind of run the script or run the program. I just sort of prefer clicking on run for whatever reason, but basically, so yeah, that's how you print out some variables. Now we can actually use Python to assign multiple variables. And the way you do that is, for example, we use commas between our variables. So let's say we want to have 3 variables. We wanted commas between each of these 3 variables, as well as commas for whatever variables we wanted to set for them. So let's go for age. Let's go. We're going to have the ages of people as our variables. So we're going to type in Al, Bob, Charles equals 17, 18, 19. We can click run. Oops, I'm sorry, I forgot to do the print statement. Print Al. So you can see, basically what we did here is we assigned 17 to Al, 18 to Bob, 19 to Charles. So I'm going to click print Al. That gave us 17 because Al's age is 17, the variable 17 is in there. And if we went and put in Bob, We'll click run, and it just gave us out 18. Now you can also set multiple variables to the same values. For example, we can do Al equals Bob equals Charles equals 18. This basically just tells us the variables Al, Bob, and Charles, they're all equal to each other, and they all equal 18. So let's click run again. Oops, I forgot to print something, so we can do print Al and print Bob. So we'll click run. And they're both 18, so it gives 18 both times. Now let's say we wanted to, the final thing for this little segment is, well, not this segment, not this video either, but basically, let's say we have a sentence. So we can type it sentence equals, and again, I mentioned before, we can assign, well, here we can assign a value of, we can assign a string value into a variable. So for example, I think I already showed that, but we could just say like, Al is 23 years old. Now we can, if we wanted to just print out a word called Al, or just want to print out Al, basically what we could do is we could just do print sent index. Now our index is basically it chooses, like, for example, our particular letters here. Starts with index 0, so the letter A is index 0, L is 1. Then it says is 23 years old, so if we want to just select Al, we'd start with index 1, or index 0 for A, index 1 for Al, and we're going to put in index 2 because we want it to, the last end of your index is non-inclusive, so we can just do 2. Click run. Hang on one second. Looks like I made a mistake. It should be not -2 or -2, but a colon. So I'm going to click run. It'll give us the word Al. Now you can use arithmetic operators on both strings and integers. So we're going to delete all this for now. Basically, we have, let's say we have age 1 equals 18. Age 2 equals 20. We can do various arithmetic operators, and these operators are addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, and modulus. So for variables, we can just type in, for example, age plus, or so we can just print out age 1 plus age 2. This will give us our operation, so it should be equal to 38, and yes, it is. We can do age 1 minus age 2, right again, which is equal to -2, because 18 minus 20 is -2. We can do age 1 times age 2. We can run it, 360, that's also correct, 18 times 20 is 360. Divide age 1 by age 2. And we get 0.9, because 0.9 is equal to 18 divided by 2. And if we do modulus, we'll get age 1 divided by age 2. Now, age 1 divided by age 2 is basically going to be 0. Our remainder is 18. Modulus is basically the remainder function for Python. So click run. It's going to be 18, because our remainder is 18. And if we did it the other way, for example, if we had age 2 modulus age 1, we should get 2 as our remainder, and it is correct. I can also perform arithmetic operators on arithmetic operators on strings as well. So for example, we have string 1 equals my is Al, and string 2, or so let's change this to my name is Al. Let's change this to my name is string 2. We can just type in Al. And what we can do is we can print string 1 plus string 2. If you click run, and it gives us my name is Al. Now, because we didn't put in a space anywhere, it basically concatenated it to just adding the A right after the S without a space. So what we can do is we can do add some close quotes in between the string plus close quotes, and also do the same for the other side. Click run, and we've got a space in between. And finally, what you can do with strings, you can multiply them. Well, you can only add and multiply strings. You can't divide, you can't subtract, you can't modulate strings. Basically, what happens if you type in string 2, print string 2 times 10, should give us Al 10 times. So we're going to click run, and it's giving us Al 10 times again because no space in between them. So final thing we're going to talk about in this video is going to be something called placeholders. Now, placeholder is basically a sort of a placeholder for it's basically a placeholder for some certain string. So for example, we could say like sentence equals, well, we can use the percent sign for strings if we want to have a placeholder for strings, and then if we want to use a digit or integer, we would do placeholder for not SD. So this is a percent for string, and then this is our D. So for example, we can just type out something like percent S, the birthday in September. Hang on one second. Okay, so we have our sentence here. Now we need to determine a variable to go in for S, or not variable, but basically a string. So basically we're going to type in name equals, let's go for Al. And then we're going to print sentence. Okay, so we're going to print sentence, then we're going to put in our percent symbol, then we're going to put in name. So we're going to print sentence, percent symbol, name, should run. Oops, we did not do that right. Let's try that again. Okay, so I forgot to put in quotes for Al. Basically, print sentence's name, so we're going to click run. Al has birthday in September. Now what we can do is we want to say, okay, we don't have our variable name Al, but we want to input something else. So we can just type in parentheses, Al. That should do the same thing. Al has a birthday in September. We can just change this to, let's see, Bob. Should do exactly the same thing. Click run. Bob has birthday in September. Now, if you wanted to, you could do double S or do two S's. So, for example, we have percent S. Percent S has a birthday. And then we would keep this print sentence percent the same. Let's have Bob in quotation marks, comma, Johnson. Let's just type in Johnson for a common last name. Click run. Bob Johnson's birthday is September. Okay. And if we wanted to add addition, or I'm sorry, if we wanted to do an integer, we would do %d, and we would just change this prediction to say 23. Doesn't really mean anything because again we have a birthday in September. It's just, you wouldn't say Bob 23 has a birthday in September. You might say Bob who is 23 has a birthday in September. Basically, you can again do the same thing. So click run. Bob 20 has a birthday in September. And actually, the last thing we're going to talk about in this video is going to be about formatting strings. So for example, we can do type print. We start with our F. And you can just basically put in exactly what sort of variables you wanted. So for example, you could just do something like my name is, well, first of all, you need to have a variable first. So we could just do name equals Al. Oops, I forgot the quotes. And you can just type in, for example, my name is name, and click run. It says my name is Al. That's again a useful trick you can use to put in whatever you want in here. You can also use it for operations. So for example, we can say x equals 19, y equals 32. And we can just type in, well, my name is, we can just change this to the sum of x and y is, it's not going to be name. Sum of x, y is going to be name. It's going to be x plus y. I'm going to click run. Okay, so I just forgot to add both quotation marks, close quotes, and parentheses. So basically what we have is we click run, x, y is 51. We can do also x times y, which will be a pretty big number, but we can do that. And we can click run. So yeah, this is going to be the end of part 1 of our introduction to Python tutorial. I hope you guys liked this video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you did. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care.